probably don't do what the mother did, and she waved around knives and pointing at a child and that type of thing. So that's probably a don't, but don't worry, even if you have, basically I'll step you through that, how to not worry about those sort of things. It's important for you to know that you're not going to get in trouble for raising false allegations to police. In fact, I have gone myself, that I've said that there is false police statements and false affidavits, and I've tried to, I've gone to several police stations trying to actually get them to help. And in fact, probably for this video, I'll actually go into several police stations with the video recorder on, and I'll be saying, look, I've got fraud, false allegations within some affidavits. I would like to report them. And the first question, guaranteed, that the police will ask is it to do with a family court case? Or words to that effect. And you will be honest and you'll say yes, and they'll say, well, I'm sorry, the police don't get involved with family court matters. That is a matter for the family courts. And what happens is the fathers, they'll think that they still will get some sort of justice eventually in a family law court system. And that's when they rudely realise that if they push as much as I did, well, then you'll finally get orders, just as a judgment was made on the 19th of July 2010 by Federal Magistrate Demack. Para 3, I've taken an excerpt from it. It says, I have no interest in these criminal matters. They are not for me to determine. They are not for me to prosecute. I do not intend to make any comment with respect to whether offences have occurred during the course of the trial by myself or by any other person. Now that means that the police won't actually deal with criminal activity, nor will the magistrates. So that means that you can make as many false allegations as you like, and even if the father has proof, it doesn't matter, because they won't actually deal with fraud. And so and in fact, my lawyer, who got kicked out for doing no wrong because he wasn't part of the system, and he wanted to expose what was going on, he started quoting what's called the Magna Carta. Now, Magna Carta actually states that you know, if there's fraud on the court or criminal activities that are happening in a court, that basically everyone's is not to be denied justice. And that means that if the judge isn't prepared to actually deal with criminal matters, well, then she has to pass that information on to the appropriate authority for investigation. Now, I certainly would have loved that, but as you can see, that doesn't happen either. So don't worry, make as many false police statements as you like, because you know it's not going to matter. And then when you write affidavits, blurs it out, and I'll teach you how. The next thing I want to go on with is the first thing of a family court case is that you have to have what's called a domestic violence order. Now, what you have to do also is try and get the father antagonized. If he's not a violent person, sometimes it might take 4 hours. In my case, it did. What you have to do is get a digital tape recorder or even a camera, and what you do is you record, or even he records, because he's actually going to see someone to try and help the situation by seeing a marriage counsellor. But of course the mother didn't have to go, or didn't want to go, so therefore and it doesn't even matter if she lied and says, you know, that I went for a 3-month period, when it was only 2 times that she went under duress that she went there. But yeah, more or less record for 4 hours and just antagonize, and then what you do is if he snaps, you know, and starts swearing and saying, you know, well, then capture that 4 minutes of recording, delete the rest, and then just keep it. You know, you'll use it, not straight away, you'll use it probably, you know, I think it was in my case about 10 court cases later that you actually start showing evidence. And it always goes well for you if you can wait and show that evidence later. Now, probably just remember the 6 F's. Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. So make sure that you've got everything prepared, so that way you've more or less got it in the bag, as long as you can remove the child from the father from the beginning. If you can remove him from the beginning, then you're home free, scot-free. Magistrates, what you have to realise is magistrates, if there's verbal abuse, well then magistrates don't have to worry about mental violence or mental abuse. Might be the worst one, right? But the thing is they don't have to worry about it. What they have to worry about is if there is physical violence and also sexual abuse as well. So they're the 2 things that you have to concentrate on. But for your first police, for your first involvement with the police, and it doesn't matter, even if you haven't had an involvement for 9 years of a relationship, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got that capturing just before you leave, that's all that's necessary to remove a child. So we've covered the mental abuse. Now, magistrates, they don't actually have to deal with verbal abuse or mental abuse. They don't have to have concern when writing orders, but they do have to have concern when there's physical abuse to yourself and the child. So throw in things like alcohol or drugs, or you know, that wasn't used in my case, but it is a good one to use. The alcohol was used. I actually had to do a parenting course because I used to leave fictitious bottle caps lying around the house, and I don't even drink beer. Actually, I don't drink at all now, but certainly I was a Scotch drinker. Then all you have to do is get the police to come round and prove that the father did throw the envelope, and that's all that's needed for them to raise the domestic violence order. There is cross orders. The mother had cross orders. Try not to. As I said, the mother used knives and basically was saying the word kill and all this type of thing. But you know how the system works anyway is that doesn't matter. You can say all that. The courts don't worry about it. And the thing is you know, if you work for the Department of Justice, well then, hey, you know, always try to get into one of those positions, especially in government, because then they'll go, well, we will support you, irrespective of what you do. And I'll prove that. I actually raised this due to per minus. It's a Latin term. The Magistrate Demack didn't want Latin terms to be used in a courtroom, so basically she wouldn't actually allow Magna Carta to be used either. I mean, she basically said, well, you know, Magna Carta, Magna Fata, you know, not specifically, but basically told that it was a whole heap of nonsense. Kicked out my lawyer mid-trial, and basically you can imagine, you know, giving him a $9,999 bill, that's pretty steep for doing nothing wrong, and then there's concerns for his life, which we'll go through. Anyway, I think that's enough for my first video, and see you on video 2. Thank you, goodbye.